Unveiling the mystique around Tupac is always good. He gets looked at as such a monolith in the culture that I think it turns people away from analyzing his works. Tupac is heralded for his delivery, his true to life rhymes, storytelling, and his ability to sound comfortable on any type of song like a chameleon. Tupac was murdered at the age of 25, but he left us one of the best discographies in hip hop. Tupac's best albums, Pac's signature aggressive albums are the double album All Eyes on Me and the Don Illuminati, The 7 Day Theory. Me Against the World is another classic of his, and it's great and comparable to those two albums as well. It's very socially aware, like the 7 Day Theory, with the same aggression, but that aggression is directed at other things like the government and not other rappers. All Eyes on Me is my favorite Tupac album, despite Me Against the World and the 7 Day Theory being two very, very great ones. But, this is why Pac is one of the greatest of all time. His three notoriously classic albums all give you a different offering of emotions and vibes. Me Against the World is pro-black and socio-political. All Eyes on Me is full of West Coast G-Funk vibes. And the 7 Day Theory is raw, emotional, and wax. Pac's first two albums are also worth mentioning because they're really good. But some songs sound dated, whereas songs on Me Against the World, 7 Day Theory, and All Eyes on Me don't suffer that issue. For example, on his Strictly 4 album, Keep Your Head Up sounds noticeably better in terms of production and engineering than everything else on the album. Now let's look at his classic albums individually. Me Against the World was Pac's first great album and is usually the album that East Coast hip-hop critics laud as his best album because it was before he started beefing with East Coast artists. Me Against the World is also laced in East Coast influence, particularly in its production, with credits from guys like Easy Mo Bee. Me Against the World is more politically inclined and cohesive than his other classic albums, and it's a huge step in quality than his prior two albums before that, which were Tupacalypse and Strictly 4. It's like everything Pac was trying to do on his first two albums with Trapped and Brenda's Got a Baby in terms of sociopolitics and storytelling was perfected on Me Against the World. All Eyes on Me is different in style to Me Against the World. There's a thicker presence of West Coast and G-Funk, and it's the first Pac album with Dre, Daz, DJ Quick, and Johnny J production, all West Coast producers. All Eyes on Me is noticeably more blatantly aggressive than Me Against the World, which was influenced by the West Coast rap scene at the time, which was largely gangster rap. Also influenced by the East Coast and West Coast hip-hop media feud. All Eyes on Me is the Tupac most people recognize. It's a double album, and darn near every song is recognizable or a classic. It's the best rap double album of all time, in my opinion. On disc 1, there's maybe one song that can't be considered as a classic. Same on disc 2. So that's 27 songs on a double album, and 20 years later, all but 2 or 3 songs are classics. You don't see that often. Recording songs back to back with little breaks, completing multiple songs in one day, all-day studio sessions, freestyling and one-taking entire songs, all these are common practices in hip-hop today that Tupac perfected on a double album and the All Eyes on Me sessions. Again, this is why Tupac is one of the greatest of all time. I did a review on All Eyes on Me in 2010 when I was trying to educate myself on the hip-hop classics. The review is not very good, but it highlights some of the best songs on All Eyes on Me. The Don Illuminati 7 Day Theory is Pac's most menacing and aggressive album. It's even more aggressive than All Eyes on Me. Songs like Hail Mary and Bomb First give the album an eerie, vengeful vibe. The album is contrasted by songs like To Live and Die in L.A. and White Man's World, which gives you Pac's signature, familiar, comforting undertone. 7 Day Theory is raw, emotional, and wax. That's what makes it so great. There aren't many albums that are capable of catching whole moments and emotions. The 7 Day Theory is a screenshot into Pac's world and mind at the time. Pac's group album, Thug Life Volume 1, often gets overlooked, but it's one of the better group albums you'll hear in hip-hop. I consider it a classic, which gives Pac 4 classic albums and a whole lot of classic songs, interviews, and moments. On Thug Life Volume 1, Bury Me a G, Pour Out a Little Liquor, How Long Will They More Me, featuring Nate Dogg, Straight Ballin', Cradle to the Grave. They're some of the best songs, in a stacked discography. This is why Tupac is one of the greatest of all time. And like I said earlier, it's good to unveil the mystique around Tupac, because I think with the newer generation of hip-hop fans, the reason why he's considered so great kind of gets lost